further ado, let me introduce Michael Serwa. Can we give him
Thank you, Deepak. Hi, guys. Lots of familiar faces. First row, obviously. I'm trying to establish who's going to leave within the first 20 minutes. There's always one person. I'm going to make fun of you as you leave in. As soon as you leave the room, I'll make fun of you, so I'm just telling you right now. But let's push it today. I want 2 people to leave. Be like, no, this guy is just too arrogant. He's a megalomaniac. Did you find the space okay? We were really struggling. No, struggling. Talk about working hard, and we worked really fucking hard to find this place. So by the time we got here, I was like, Jesus Christ, I don't usually do walking, you know? Because when you live in central London, you basically can do everything from your place. Right, it's great to be here again. I was standing in the same spot May last year, and that talk was called Never Work a Day in Your Life Again. It's on YouTube, and it was a great crowd last year. I'm looking at faces today. Oh, hi. And I see another bunch of great people. So guys, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to talk about being a hustler, which is basically a story of my life. And now if you look up the word hustler in a dictionary, you're going to get different definitions. So obviously in slang, it means like a pimp, or someone selling drugs, a crook, a scammer. That's not the kind of hustler I'm trying to encourage. I'm going to encourage you to become, right? That's not the meaning of the word I have in mind. There's definition that say it's a go-getter. The hustler is someone who's very determined to succeed. So that's the meaning I have in mind today. And then hustle would mean working really hard towards that thing that you want. And this is not just about the money, guys. I'm not here to tell you how to become rich. I'm not rich myself yet. This is not about, when I use the word success, I'm not just referring to financial success. You know, there's so many, hi Tom, Matt, there's so many financially successful people that I know I have met, and I'm sure you did as well, who are just miserable. They're not happy. So for me, being successful means having enough money to do whatever you want to do, having great relationships, being healthy and fit, so not being unfit at the very least, right? So the combination of different things, not just money. So I'm going to talk about being a hustler, and the way I'm going to go about it, I'm going to use my personal story as a skeleton. And I will be sidetracking from my story to make a few points. I'll try not to talk for too long. You know, I have a tendency I could go for 3 hours easily. I'll try to keep it maybe 45 minutes, and then we'll open it to Q&A as long as Deepak will allow us for. So guys, I spent the first 22 years of my life in Poland. And within my teenage years already, I've realized that probably that country is a bit too small for my ego. I started to recognize around age 17, 18 that it's, you know, the mentality of people is not really what I'm looking for. I couldn't really find many people that thought the way I did, which is I want to have everything in life. There's nothing I can't have, and I really want to be great at something. I had this ambitions that I couldn't really find many people with. So I chose London, but before I came to London at age 22, I went to school. I was very good in primary school. So good that I ended up at one of the best high schools in my city in Poland, which is one of the biggest cities in Poland. But then it was a 4-year high school, but after 2 years I quit. I just couldn't do it anymore. I was bored out of my ass. I just couldn't do it. And I tried, and I was like, come on, you can handle it. Everybody can do it. You can do it as well. I said, no, I'm wasting my time. But let me tell you, quitting school in Poland is not the same story as quitting school in here or in the States, where you hear lots of entrepreneurs like Alan Sugar here, Richard Branson, you know, Steve Jobs and college dropouts. Kind of cool, you know, if you're an entrepreneur. Like, first of all, in Poland, there's not such thing like entrepreneurship. We don't use this term. And no one, unless you're a total moron, no one leaves school early. Everybody does at least high school. So I didn't do it. So my parents almost died out of heart attack when I quit school. It took them around 8 years to fully recover from it, you know. So for 8 years, I was like, oh my God, okay, now you're in London, but why don't you do some degree? You know, there's like the whole country, and I think Eastern Europe in general is obsessed with the idea of traditional education. Unless you're educated, you have no chance in life. like I said, there's no culture of entrepreneurship as such yet, or at least it wasn't when I was there. So I quit school at 17, and fair enough, my parents said, okay, so if you're not going to go back to school, you're going to have to work. And I've never felt that I'm entitled to anything. I never felt like, because they're my parents, they need to support me, because it was fair. It was fair. It was absolutely fair. If I don't go to school, I have to work. So I started to make some money different ways. I had a couple of little businesses. My favorite was, that's when the hustling comes in. Because I often say when I came to London, I didn't speak English. What I mean by that, I spoke some English, but very, very basic English. Yet back in Poland, I've made lots of money teaching English. So how did I do that? Without being a hustler, so I didn't scam anyone, right? So I was 18, and I thought, okay, how can I make money legally? Without, so not like male prostitution. I thought about, no, I was like, no. I like sex, but not that much. I said, okay, what is it that I know? What skills do I have? And there's not many skills. I was 18. What skills did I have? Especially after 10 years at school. So I knew something about biology, history, and geography. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? So I thought, okay, I know English a little bit. So I knew very, very basic English, but I knew this basic very, very well. I thought, there's money to be made. So how I'm gonna go about it? That was before Google, internet. Anyway, in Poland, there was no internet yet. And so I opened like the paper, like English teacher. It's like all these people with degrees and proper English teachers, way older than me. And here I am, kid, 18 years old, barely knowing English. So okay, so what I need to do, and nobody ever taught me that. It just came to my mind. So okay, what can I do? I'm gonna put out a competitive price. So to use the pounds as an example, so you know what I'm talking about, instead of everybody was charging 20, 25 pounds per hour, let's say, I thought I'm gonna put it as 10 pounds an hour. So sure enough, lots of desperate Polish people started calling me. So within 3 months, I got 20 clients. And there was everyone from, the youngest was 4-year-old, a daughter from, it was fucking pain in the ass, like to keep her attention. I was like, no more kids, I don't want to have kids ever. She was so cute, but it was tough with a kid. All the way to people in the 50s, right? And now, so I've launched that around October. So October, November, December, around 20 people paying 10 pounds an hour. And I was seeing them typically once a week. And then I thought, 1st of January is coming, I'm gonna raise my fees. And I raised them 100%. And I thought I'm gonna lose some clients, and I'm gonna make the same money, working less, and I'm gonna start to charge 20 pounds an hour from now on. Nobody has quit. Why? Because I built a relationship with them. So suddenly, I was 18 years old, I was making 3 times the average, not average, 3 times the minimum Polish wage. I was making so much money as a kid, I didn't know what to do with it. I don't usually feel sorry for me right now, but it was good times. And that was that, and then in the meantime, I came here, I was working in the kitchen here in the UK for 4 months, 2 pounds an hour, illegally. That was before Poland has joined European Union, and that was probably the hardest job I've ever had, because we're talking about 14-hour days, 7 days a week, cleaning the stuff in the kitchen. With the head chef who was a bit of a racist, he didn't like Polish people. And he would never say anything to our face because we would kill him basically. But there were the rumors, that he doesn't like Polish people. So then I went to Amsterdam. Know what you're thinking? No, I've actually worked in Amsterdam for a while. And a couple of other ideas that I had, not very successful. And then what happened was, and this is the moment I was waiting for, Poland has joined European Union, and as soon as that happened, I was probably the first one that left the country. I was just waiting, And as soon as they opened the gates, I can legally come to the UK and work here legally. I just couldn't wait for that. So the problem was that I came here without any money, because at that time, I didn't have any money whatsoever. So from the age of 17 when I quit school and 22 when I came here, I was going through the periods of having money, not having money. But unfortunately, in that very period, when the gates were open, when the gates opened, there was no money. So if you think that's bad enough, think about this. Not only going to another country without a penny, counting on your friends that you have that's going to loan you some money, which is the only reason I could come in the first place. So you not only go to another country without money, you also go with a high-maintenance girlfriend without money. So you're not just fucked, you're double fucked. I said, but I can do it. If anybody can do it, I can do it. So she was very sweet, she was very nice, but she was high maintenance. And I remember, we got here, 27 hours on the bus, we couldn't afford the plane tickets. I definitely don't recommend spending 27 hours on the bus from Poland to London. It's just not fun. Full of Polish people drinking vodka and eating like gherkins, little gherkins. I remember that. And because we knew we were going for good, we had so many bags, everything, let's take everything that we have, And then I remember we arrived in London. It was a very, very hot day, which is in London? Yeah, it was London for sure. It wasn't Barcelona that we ended up in. It was London, and then my friends picked us up. We took a bus from Victoria all the way to southeast London to the place called New Cross. How many of you know what New Cross is? Oh, it's not, how would you on a level of sophistication, how would you score it, right? So not particularly sophisticated area. But at the time, I was for me, it was like a Western Europe. I was like, this is way better than Poland anyway. So New Cross was like my new home. Sure enough, we spent the first 2 weeks on the squat. 4 of us in a little room, including my high maintenance girlfriend. You have to see her face when she entered this house. And she saw the room and the toilets. She didn't break up with me then, we survived that. And then, but you see, like I said, I came to London, I was on this bus without money. But I had something which I consider being way more important than money. Because if you have that, you can go anywhere without money, without knowing anyone, and you're going to make it. You're going to survive. I had the inner hustle in me. I had the determination. I had the hunger. I knew I'm coming here to dominate. I didn't come here to survive. I didn't come here to get by. I had some level of success, with this English business, English teaching business in Poland already, so I knew I could make money. I always was good in making money from a very young age. The only problem is I'm even better in spending money. I don't know if some of you might have this problem, especially ladies. So making money wasn't a problem. Keeping money, it's a problem, still a problem. So we spent the first few weeks going to different job centers because okay, we are in London now, we're gonna check out the job centers. That was a waste of time. And I knew it's gonna happen, so it took a little bit of time. There was some stress. She was putting stress on me because she was obviously scared, a new place completely. She was young as well, 14 or 15, just kidding. And then somebody said to us, listen, what you gotta do, you gotta print off hundreds of CVs and go to Covent Garden and take them from one place to another. I was like, obviously. So I printed exactly 100 CVs, sure enough, and I said, fuck it, let's do this. And I remember we landed in Trafalgar Square, and I was just going from pub to the shop. I wasn't, I don't like the building. No, I was just going to every place I could get a job in. I just didn't care at that point. And obviously I wasn't expecting to get a managerial position or anything like that, especially that my English was very, very basic. And then it happened to say, okay, we need someone in Zara. So that was my first job, sales assistant. And I remember having an interview with this guy for a position in Zara. And he asked me throughout the interview, how do you see yourself progressing in the company? How do you see yourself in the company? And I looked him dead in the eye and I said, I want your job as soon as possible. With a heavy Polish accent, which I can't even recreate now for you, So obviously he laughed just like you did. And 9 months after he laughed, I took over his position, which was the fastest promotion in the history of Zara UK at the time, from someone without retail experience and no English to managerial position. And why did it happen? Is it because I'm smarter than other people? I'm not. Is it because I'm better looking than other people? No, I'm not. Although I like to think I am. It was the hustle. I was aggressive from day one. When I say aggressive, it's not like, hey, move on. This is like my sale. That's not. When I say aggressive, I don't mean aggressive in a exact way. I'm talking about having this aggressive attitude of a hustler. It's like I know what I want. I want to make as much money as possible here. I want to dominate. I want to be a manager. I want to boss people around. That's what I'm good at. I don't want to take directions. I'm going to give directions. I'm going to work extra hard. So I wasn't hoping that, somebody's going to like me and I'm going to get lucky. Guys, I don't believe in luck. Forget about luck. There's not such thing like luck. The harder we work, the luckier we get. Yeah? It's very easy for an unsuccessful person to look at a successful person and say, that's because he got lucky. He got lucky with this Facebook idea. You know? Steve Jobs, he got lucky. He was in the right place in the right time. And no, he wasn't lucky. If you study the stories of successful people, and I'm not talking about myself right now. When you study stories of really successful people, the most successful people out there, there's no luck involved. Whether it's Richard Branson, when you read the story of Richard Branson, he worked his ass off from a young age, selling, I think, Christmas trees was his first business. It was a pure hustle. I worked more than my colleagues. I worked longer hours. I pushed myself harder. I paid more attention to have a good relationships with my bosses. So it wasn't just working hard, but also building relationships with my bosses. Not kissing up to them. That's something I can't do. I never tried it. It's just one thing I can't do. But I had a good relationships with the right people. That obviously helped. And then a few years in retail, I'm going to bore you with the whole story. So very successful career in retail for 5 years. All the way to the store manager, totally overpaid. Like totally overpaid. Like I'll get more money than my colleagues because I could sell myself on the interview. Yeah? And I could make an impression of, oh my God, this guy's going to take our income, to another level, which sometimes was the case, sometimes it wasn't. But I always say to my clients when we do like coaching on interviews, that job interviews and first date, this is not the place to be exactly honest. Yeah? I'm not saying go out and lie, but almost everyone lies or exaggerates or stretches the truth to the degree on job interviews. How do I know that? I've interviewed around 100 people in my retail career. Yes, it's normal. I expect someone in front of me to exaggerate a little bit, to emphasize the strengths and try to avoid talking about the weaknesses. I use the word lying. It's not really lying. It's just, for me, it's being smart. So sure enough, because I had a number of interviews, I thought it's going to be beneficial for me if I learn this stuff, if I learn what's going on during the interview, so I can make sure I always get the best outcome possible. And sure enough, if you want to learn something, especially now with the internet, that answers for everything. You don't need to necessarily get a coach. It's an ideal scenario, but you go out there and you read about interview techniques, etc. So very successful career there, but it was a typical example of winning in a wrong game. And maybe some of you can relate to it right now. You have a job you're good at, but you don't really like it. So you win, but in the wrong game. And when you talk to your friends about maybe changing your career, changing your jobs, like, why would you even think about it? Like, Tom, why would you think about quitting dentistry? You're a fucking champion. You're the best. But you don't like it. And you know it. So you win, but in the wrong game. So I was in retail, like, who is this guy? This Polish guy is just like, he works harder than everybody else. Yes, there's some harassment with his female staff, but not too much. Overall, he's likable and slightly overconfident, but it kind of works when people come and he kind of takes control of the shop or situation. So I basically play to my strengths, which is another thing I want to talk to you about. The playing to your strengths, as opposed to identifying your weaknesses, which is good to have them identified, but identifying your weaknesses and then trying to turn them into strengths. So there are certain things, there are certain instrumental skills that we all need to have in order to be successful, I believe. Number one, or one of the first ones, is the ability to sell. So if you're in business especially, say, no, selling is not for me, you have no chance of succeeding. Forget it. Personal trainer, a nutritionist, life coach, accountant, etc. There's always the musician. There has to be the element of selling. And there is. If you have any business, you sold something to someone. But the degree to which you master the art of selling is the degree to which you're going to dominate your field or market. So when it comes to basic things like that, like selling, like communication skills, like knowing that at the end of the sentence there's a dot, these are like non-negotiable. But everything else, things like accounting, things like legal stuff when you run a business, or any legal stuff to do with your employment, there are things that you could either spend some time on, or you could focus on your strengths and therefore generate more income and then be in a position to outsource the stuff you don't like to do to other people. So I have my assistant, who is here, somewhere at the back. She does all the stuff I absolutely hate doing. And she kind of likes it. I wouldn't want to have an assistant who hates doing the stuff I hate doing because I would feel bad for her. So she likes it. She likes organizing things. She's like putting labels on things. I'm like, Jesus Christ. All different colors. And it's great to be in a position that I can do that. And of course, when I first started my business, which I will get to in a minute, I wasn't spending any money. I didn't have to spend. So I was doing everything myself. But then because I focused on my strengths, which is, marketing and selling, I generated enough income and now I can outsource pretty much anything. Anything that I want. So what happened? I'm in a retail career, very successful career. One thing I didn't tell you, a year or so after coming to London, I came across The Secret. How many of you have read or at least heard about The Secret? Most of you, right? Or watched the movie. I saw that, by the way. She went like, I'm looking at you like, she went like this. You've been forgiven, it's okay. Nobody left, by the way. What's going on? Is everybody okay with my style? Oh, she's going. So I came back home, and I told you about the high maintenance girlfriend. She's there. Oh, by the way, I just told you one story about her, with her. Maybe second or third week, we went to Lidl to do shopping, right? Forget about Waitrose or Marks & Spencer, it was Lidl, And she wanted grapes. She put grapes to the basket. And I said, honey, we can't get grapes. And she was like, why? Because they're too expensive. It's not a basic item. And we had an argument in Lille about grapes. That's how poor we were. So one day I came back from work. So a year after being in London, I came back from work. And I see this board with different images on it. And I said, honey, what's up with that? It's called a vision board. And she was a girly girl, so there was like a pink car, engagement ring. I can't buy fucking grapes. Couple on the beach, we can't go to the beach. We can go to Brighton maybe. Not even that. So I was like, what's that about? So she explained it to me. I'm reading this book, it's called The Secret, and they talk about putting all the stuff that you want on the board so you can look at it every day and kind of, visualize it. And I was like, okay, it's both weird and intriguing. So I decided to read it. What's the worst thing that can happen? And that's when I got hooked in on personal development. Oh my God, 9 years. It's been 9 years and it just wouldn't let go. I got so hooked in, I read The Secret, and that's how my personal development journey has started. So I got to the book that was the basis of The Secret, which is the Think and Grow Rich, and the tons of other books. I used to attend meetups, seminars. I was on your side many times. And occasionally I would leave the room. So that's why I never blame anyone for leaving the room, because I said, why would you stop? It's like going to the cinema. It's like, oh my God, this movie is just shit. Why would you stay? You could be doing something else. So I've been 4 years on this personal development journey, and very successfully I've addressed a couple of areas of my life. I was confident, I became even more confident. Sometimes I think I overdid with this one. That, it's too much. But I don't know how to, there's no books on how to be less confident. I look for it. So if you come across one, or like a coach who's gonna help you go back to normal. I think I did too much confidence coaching. Thomas, I know you're not leaving, so you're good. Thomas is a brilliant coach, by the way. Who just distracted me. But just to take a picture, so you're being forgiven, yeah. One day, on my day off, I'm watching Tony Robbins on my laptop. And I felt something I haven't felt since the moment I decided to quit school, because I was at school when I heard this. It wasn't the actual voice, yeah? Don't freak out. It wasn't an actual voice like Jesus, talking to me, yeah? I just heard it. It was a very, very strong gut feeling that I have to leave school and never come back, and that's what happened. And now I had this feeling that you're gonna be a coach. So I'm 27, I'm watching Tony Robbins, and it's not like, oh, Tony Robbins. I've never been crazy about Tony Robbins. I respect him a lot. I've never been crazy about Tony Robbins. It just happened to be him. It was about someone helping people through personal development. That was about that rather than Tony Robbins himself. But anyway, it was like a hit. I was like, fuck. Like, there was a darkness and now it's light. I just knew it, guys. And it's been 5 years, and there wasn't a day when I doubted that I'm on the right path in terms of what I'm doing. To the point where if you said to me, Michael, I would like you to work for me, I'm going to pay you 10 times what you're making right now, I wouldn't even ask you, what is it that you do? I would turn it down. Partially because I know I can make 10 times more money if I want to, doing what I'm doing in the next few years. So I know it's quite, I know it's quite unusual. I appreciate that. This is as common as falling in love from the first sight. That never happened to me, but I fell in love from the first sight with a career path, which I appreciate is very fortunate. And some of you sitting here are like, oh, it's easy for him to be passionate about what he does because he found it. But hey, it happened. But bear in mind that it didn't happen when I was in the shop complaining about my life. Yeah, I was doing the thing I was interested in. And I was doing it, and I was doing it, and I was doing it. And basically, I converted my passion into a career, which is always the best clues. Like when I talk to clients about finding the dream career, we start with the things that they like. It's pretty obvious, right? So here I am, 5K in debt. I told you I'm a spender. So 5K in debt on credit cards. With another girlfriend who wasn't high maintenance, but she was broke. So we were living together, and I was paying all the bills, and I need to do this. Like, I need to do this. And I was in the shop. I was running. Wait for this. I was running. My last shop I was managing was a lingerie store. A lingerie store. Me running a lingerie store with 10 female staff, 10 Italian female staff. I don't know who gave me that job. I really don't. I applied for it because I was like, that looks like easy. So I applied for it, and they called me. I'm like, really? So out of 600 stores of that particular brand, I was the only straight male store manager. And sure enough, women would come to the shop and they'd be like, huh? So I thought, okay, I'm 5K in debt. I know what I want to do, but I need the money, so I can't quit my job. I'm 5K in debt. I don't have any savings. How am I going to launch a business? So I was like, okay, I will do it when the time is right. And this is the trap lots of us follow into. I will do X, Y, Z when the time is right. Now it's not the right time. I'm not 100% ready yet. I had this conversation with a client today. Like, it's almost ready, but I need to I'm a perfectionist. Fuck that, I'm a perfectionist as well. But guys, this I'm a perfectionist can prevent you from doing something for the whole lifetime. Like, I have this book, I have the first draft, I've written this book 2 years ago, I'm not quite ready. I've written a book. Do you think I'm 100% happy with my book? I'm not. And I knew I'm not when I was publishing it. But through coaching, my coach told me, one of my mentors at the time said, Michael, just get it out. You can always perfect it later, which is what I'm doing right now, working on the second edition of this book. There are some typos, there's a few typos, and you're like, oh, Michael, there's a typo. I'm like, so? You don't have any typos in your book? Oh, I don't have a book. Can I see your book? Can I go through the, spelling your book? Oh, I don't have a book. What's better? A book with the typos or no book? But a perfectionist would say, hey, this is not, I'm not quite sure about this one chapter. Fuck it, just get it out. You can always polish it later. So, where was I? Right. I wasn't ready because I didn't have enough money. And there was a universe intervention. The universe said, hey, you ready? Not literally, I don't have. I'm a spiritual person, but I'm not one of those, airy-fairy spiritual people. The universe had a different plan. The universe said, oh, you know what? When I close down your store, we're going to make you redundant. And now what? You're going to have to deal with it. So when they told me redundancy, they're closing down the store. Not my fault, I promise. It wasn't my fault. They closed down the whole store. They made all of us redundant. And I said, fuck, is it the sign? But I said, no, I need to be rational. I didn't have the parents I could call to get some money if I needed to. And I didn't have any people with money at the time. Because all my friends were like from retail, there's not much money there. So I started to apply for jobs. But for the first time in my life, oddly enough, I couldn't get a job. It was very, very weird. And then I had a final interview with Prada, I remember. And in a very strange way, this director came from Italy, and it was a very strange interview. And I had to leave early because I was running one of my meetups, which I had on the side, and I think that saved me. And the meetup saved me. I had to be somewhere at 7 o'clock. And I told her before the interview finished, I need to leave. And she was like, huh? And they don't want to hear it. It's like, you need to kind of commit yourself to the company. So I left, I didn't get the job, and I remember over the weekend, they said they're gonna let me know, are you leaving? I remember your file, I will find you. Okay. So the interview was Friday, and they said they're gonna get back to me on a Monday. And over the weekend, I thought this, okay. If they're gonna offer me this position, I'm gonna take it. If they don't, I'm gonna launch my coaching business properly. So I've been coaching already for a year since I discovered that. So this is we're talking about a year later. And I was coaching part-time, charging £20 an hour. Right? And I had lots of fun doing it. I didn't have a website at the time yet. I had a ad on Gumtree, and I was getting some people there. And I remember I decided, if I'm not going to get this job, I'm launching it full-time, I'm building a website, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I remember I said to my girlfriend, I said, listen, if I'm not going to get the job and I'm going to launch this coaching business, if we're going to need the money, once you get paid, she was a model, so she was getting some money every now and then, will you kind of take care of us? And she was like, yeah, sure. So I think her decision was quite instrumental as well. And interestingly enough, until I made some money, she's never made any money. So again, if I knew that she's not going to make any money, I probably wouldn't risk it. Especially being 5K in debt. Who does that? If you're a normal person, you don't do it. But then again, hustlers are not necessarily normal. They're not normal. Richard Branson, one of his first big businesses was running a student magazine called Student, I think. And when he was 18, he went to look for an investor to go to expand nationally. So go outside of London with his magazine. And he spoke to this investor at this, everything was going well, and then the investor asked him, so, what are your plans for the future, like expanding, going forward? And he said, I have this vision on taking people out of the space. Yeah, organizing this, not trips, how you call it, like tours to outer space. And so investor thought he was nuts. And he just like, this guy's crazy. But he had this vision already, I don't know if it must have been in the 80s or 70s, that he's going to be doing what he's doing right now, right? The new Virgin project. So, you might have an idea and you might be sure about this idea. But you start to talk to people, your normal friends, right? Not other crazy people. Your normal friends say, no. Like, no, just don't do it, come on. Yeah? But guys, the society is always wrong about everything. The society reads the wrong papers. Any of you, I'm going to pick on you if you say yes. Any of you reading The Sun or Daily Mail? I mean, how can you expect, how can anyone expect to read rubbish and then produce something of value? If that's what you're feeding yourself with. Metro is not far away, in my opinion, my non-humble opinion, Metro is not far away from Daily Mail and The Sun. It's drama, rape, murder, and war. I haven't watched news in years. I have no idea what's going on outside of Mayfair, pretty much. Coming here today is a trip, I got some sandwiches on my way here. And all the stuff that I know about the big stuff from Facebook, but when friends are sharing something on Facebook, there's an earthquake there or there's a war in there. You don't see the images. And it's the images that, whether you're aware of that or not, they disturb you. They disturb they stick to your subconscious brain. Stick to your subconscious brain. So why you want to expose yourself to that? Why do you need to watch the news every day? Oh, Michael, but you're just being ignorant. Yes, I'm ignorant, but I'm also very happy. I'm a happy ignorant. Would you rather be a happy ignorant or knowing everything miserable or unhappy individual? Like, I'm not very happy, I feel the fear is like someone's going to attack me, I don't feel safe in this city. Because obviously all you read about is murder, rape and wars. You're not going to feel very safe even in a place like London. So yes, I do live in the bubble. I created this bubble for myself. But guys, I got to tell you, it's a very nice environment to be in. And part of that, a big part of that, is being very, very selective as to who I spend my time with. There are no losers in my life. There are no losers in my life anymore. Because when you work for a company, you can't choose, even when you're the manager, you can't choose every single person you work with. Like, I've built my amazing staff in one of my stores, but my boss was an idiot. You know, hitting on one of my female staff in front of him was like, come on, you know, like really bad. So you can't choose everyone. But when you work for yourself, that's the beauty of it. If you choose your own clients, you choose your own suppliers, you choose your accountant, you choose your assistant, and then you choose the events you come and speak at. You know, and I see the room full of winners and potential hustlers. Yeah, so coming back to my story. Here I am, launching my coaching business. Very little idea about the business. Never done any business school, never done any coaching training. Still haven't done any coaching training. But again, a desire, the hunger. So I'm going to make it happen. And people are like, oh, again, normal people, Michael, but there's so many coaches out, the competition is so strong. I was like, really? Aren't you concerned about your competition? You know what I said? I said, my competition should be concerned about me. Which I know it's a cocky, arrogant thing to say, but I actually believed in that. And I still believe in that. And I remember when I first started, I remember 20 pounds an hour, I was always looking at the guy, I knew the all big guys already, and I still follow the really big guys in my industry. But I also, in the same time, looked for the guy in front of me, or the person in front of me. The person who is 1 year ahead of me. And I was like, okay, how much are they making? How much are they charging? Okay, I need to be, they're going down. Like, they're going down. And I remember year after year after year, I was becoming better and better and better. But when I look at my coaching journey, it's not a journey of a non-hustler. It was the pure hustle. So how I went about building a six-figure coaching business in a very short time. I built a website very cheaply, so I actually had my friend to teach me how to build a website so I could do it myself because I couldn't afford outsourcing it. Very simple website, the same template that you can see right now, but the picture wasn't photoshopped or anything. It was like sitting on the bench like a good mommy's boy, which is very misleading. Versus picture right now that was photoshopped not by one but by two people. So, and I had an objective of getting 20 people paying £20 an hour in a 3 months period. And I remember I put 20, how do you call them? Like sticky notes on the wall, like posters, yeah, 20 of them. And I at the time when I was launching this, when I was going full time, I had one client. So I put his initials and I was like, okay, 19 more to go and 3 months. And I put this pressure on myself. Guess how many clients I ended up with by the 31st of December?
20.
Exactly 20. Somebody would tell me, and I say, yeah, whatever. Like, what are the odds? It wasn't 19, it wasn't 20, it was 20. And this is the power of the focus. In a hustler, you gotta have, like, you're gonna be hustling, you gotta know very clearly what you're gonna be hustling for. For me, it wasn't a matter of, let's make some money from coaching, let's see what I can do. I was very clear that I want to be #1 life coach in the UK to begin with. And I knew that's not going to take me a year or 2 or 3. I knew it's a long-term goal. I'm not in a rush. Yeah, there's no need to be in a rush. And at the end of the day, you got to enjoy the journey, the process of getting there. Because once you get there, you've heard it many times, so even when you think about the goals you've achieved, you know, when you get to the goal, when you buy that thing that you really want, you're saving money for, and then you get it, and then the next day, like, what else do I want? Yeah, it's the human nature. So I'm not fooling myself that once I get somewhere, that's when I'm going to enjoy it. I need to enjoy the process. That's why I was coming back to what I was talking about, you know, strengths and weaknesses. I will always look for opportunities to outsource stuff I don't like to do to other people. So, we had 2012, and then I said, okay, let's launch my public speaking career as well. Let's see if I can get some clients for that, and you know, I knew I'm going to enjoy it as well. So, in 2012 alone, I've given around 200 talks. And I know that some of you who don't know me will be like, really? 2,000 talks in 1 year? Yes. So there was a period when I first started in January, February, and I had these groups, meetup groups. I had 3 meetup groups. that meetup recently closed down, saying that I used them to promote myself, which might have something to do with the fact that I did use them to promote myself. So I didn't even argue with them. I was like, they're being fair, like my parents, just like my parents. I was like, I can't argue with that, you're absolutely right. And the fact that the groups were called Michael Serwa's group, Michael Serwa's group for men, and Michael Serwa's group for women didn't help. And instead of description of the group was my bio, bragging about shit that I did and I didn't. So it took them 3.5 years to figure that out, but hey, after 3.5 years they closed my groups. You know, speaking of meetup groups, guys, the way I was promoting it, the way I was growing my groups, it wasn't like, hey, I'm so awesome, people are just gonna come to me, you know, people are just gonna knock to my fucking door. That's never the case. So what I was doing, I was sending the maximum, because that's as many as you can send. If you're a meetup organizer, you can send 40 private messages to other people within meetup outside of your group per day. So I've done it for a year, whole 2012, including my birthday, including my Christmas day, Easter day, whatever, 40 messages a day. Pissing a couple of other organizers off for stealing the members. One of them called me, a great guy, we are still friends somehow. He said, Michael, that's like going to Costa and offering Starbucks coffee. I'm like, well. So I was basically inviting members of other groups, like, hey, check out my group. So there was a period when I first started, when I had these new members and all of these new talks that I put together. I was giving 6 talks a week. And the only reason I didn't give 7 talks a week, because I tried once on Saturday evening and nobody was interested for some reason. So here I am talking about overcoming procrastination, and Saturday night, nobody's coming. So I've limited myself to Sunday to Friday. And guys, I was relentless. I was relentless, and I didn't care whether it was 2 people or 15 people. There were small talks, you know, in Royal Festival Hall. We were sitting, and I wasn't charging for it. And again, very often you see people getting impatient, like, I need to make money now. It's like, the money's not coming in now. This is not working. No, you gotta be patient. Whatever it is that you do. Any startup you look at, talking about business, it takes 2 to 3 years to build a strong foundation of any business. You can look at the history, or you can look at the stories of any successful businesses like Amazon, Google, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Airbnb, I think those guys, it took them 5 years to really nail it. Airbnb, which is worth like billions right now. The same with Uber, the same with WhatsApp. It takes time for things to pick up. So I thought, okay, nobody knows who I am. Nobody gives a fuck about what I have to say. They don't know who I am. So what I need to do, I need to do it for free. And then I build I'm watching you. You bet. I've built a brand, I've built some following. And then, okay, I'm going to say donation only. And I'm going to charge £2 per talk, £5 per talk, so gradual process. And then I remember at the end I was charging £20 per talk. Like, imagine like this, 15 of you all paying £20 cash. Great business model. And then I was getting some clients for that as well sometimes. So, £34,000 in my first full-time year as a coach, which I got to tell you, for a life coaching industry, it's a lot. Yeah, because I know many coaches who've been coaching or trying to coach for years and they don't make this much. So I don't want to talk about how much money I make, but that was the first year, just to give you an idea. So at the very core, the foundation of a hustler is you got to believe in yourself. It's a self-esteem. And we very often, what I see people doing is you look for reasons to believe in yourself. If anything, I look for reasons not to believe in myself. Why not believe in ourselves as a default state? Why I need to gain something or gain someone's approval or make X amount of money to believe in myself? It's relatively easy to believe in myself right now because I have a fair level of accomplishments in different fields. But when I was on this bloody bus, and guys, I'm from a working class family, uneducated family, no money, always complaints about money. Not like poor, we know we're not poor, but there was always worries about money. And certainly no personal development, no coaching. I didn't know what that was. And no like strong mentors. But I was like, you know what? This is my life. I'm gonna live my life. And every time I wake up and I look at the window, and I'm on the 6th floor, so I can see quite a bit of London, I look at this city, which I consider as the best city on the planet, by the way. I freaking love London. I look at the city and you know what I think? I think this is my playground. Let's have fun. And I have to have fun. You see, you need this fun element. You need to really enjoy what you're doing to be able to put extra hours. There's no fucking way I could give 6 talks a week if I didn't enjoy public speaking, right? I would shoot myself in the head. So I enjoy that. So I found something, how can I help my coaching business doing something I enjoy? And I still enjoy one-to-one work with a client the most out of everything. I just love it. This is what I want to do. And speaking, I do enjoy it, not as much as I enjoy one-to-one work. Writing books, I fucking hate writing. I absolutely hate writing. My mom always complains that she asks me, like she sends me a message, and she always complains that I reply either with yes, no, or with a smiley face. That's my 3 replies, nothing else. And, half of the room got a voice message from me at some point. I'm a voice message king. I call myself a voice message king. I leave voice messages. It's very cool and time efficient. But then I thought, will the book help my business? Yes or no? Yes, I'm going to do it. See, so in the same time, let's don't fool ourselves that in order to get where we want to get to, we can only limit ourselves to doing the things we absolutely love doing. Because in any kind of business, unless you're very, very lucky, and I don't know, I can't think about an example, the business owner, or it doesn't have to be business, you might be working for a company, and I'm going to find a position that I'm going to love everything about. Probably it's a bit naive thinking, I would say, or maybe a little bit over-optimistic, I would say. Because if there's a team of people, there's going to be at least one person you're not going to like. If it's a business, there's going to be at least one activity within your business that you're not going to like. Especially if you have a big ambition of dominating your niche or your market or whatever. So I knew I'm not going to enjoy the process of writing the book. So I thought, okay, I'm going to suffer anyway. I might as well do it fast. It's like going to the dentist and it's like, would you like me to remove this tooth, slowly or fast? You're going to have to go for the fast. More painful maybe option, but faster option. So I thought, okay, let's do this. I'm going to write it within a month. I'm going to sit down every day for 2 hours for a month, and I'm going to write the first draft, which is by far the most difficult part of writing process. And I did that, guys, and I promise you, sometimes I was sitting on this chair, and I purposely chose a different chair, not a regular place I would use my laptop from, to condition my brain that when I sit on this chair, the only thing I'm doing with a laptop is writing a book, which is a trick from NLP. I anchored myself that after a while, I was sitting on this chair, it's like, okay, this is book writing, this is not Facebook or other stuff. This is book writing. And I was like, fuck. Sometimes it was relatively easy, sometimes I was like, my God, what did I put myself into? But then what happens then? What you need to think about? Why are you doing it? It's always a good exercise. You have a goal, write down a couple of reasons why you're doing it in the first place. So you can go back to it when you struggle, when you hit the obstacle. And everything is telling you just to stop and just to ignore it. So it's like, okay, number 1 life coach, okay, number life coach, okay, it's going to be good to have a book, it's going to be good to have a book. And then I've committed myself to a second book, which I'm writing right now. Again, I don't enjoy this process. Even though the first book is, relatively successful, that doesn't change anything. I do not like writing. And now I'm not fooling myself that one day I will start to love writing and it's going to be easy. No, it's not going to be easy. But it's okay. Because I understand that to hustle my way all the way to the top, sometimes I need to do things I don't enjoy doing. I don't enjoy going to the gym at all. But as you can tell, I do. If you don't, we have a problem. I need to change something in my gym routine. Guys, 3 times a week, every week, no matter what. No matter what. But now, I don't ask myself every Monday, Wednesday and Friday morning whether or not I feel like going to the gym because I know the answer. Do you know the answer? No, capital letters no. So I'm not asking myself. I didn't ask myself if I want to write a book. I decided I'm going to write a book. So every Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, I just go. And once you get there, using this example, once you get to the gym, you're like, I'm going back home. It's the starting that's problematic, right? Not the actual process. I mean, it might be problematic, but never as problematic as starting. So while I'm there, it's like, oh, fuck it, I might as well walk. and do something. Especially that suddenly you've changed environment from your bed or flat to the gym and everybody's working out. And as we know, the environment the environment influences or dictates the performance. So there are especially bigger guys around me, so you want to make sure, like, if you're a guy, and make sure you go to the gym that are bigger guys than you. So like, fucking hell, just you two. Yeah, if everybody's like this, then it's like, okay, I'm already looking good. So, and then you see the sound of the weight, and there's a music, different music than what you would play in the house. So you get into that. And also, if you do it for a while, your brain is conditioned that when you enter this environment, you cross this line, this is a workout time. You don't have a phone on you. Because when I have a phone, I'm on Facebook all the time, or Tinder. But when the phone is at home, when the phone is in the lock. By the way, have you figured the fastest way? You look like you're swiping on Tinder. He was standing there doing like this. Yeah, you gotta swipe right without looking. That's the best way. Anyway, this is not a lecture on Tinder. This is not a lecture at all. This is just a talk. What I was saying, Tinder distracted me. You see, so it's about, and you see, this is where coaching can be very effective, or talking to a mentor, because that person can objectively tell you what are the things that you probably need to do, and then you just make a commitment that you're going to do it. Yeah? And you don't ask yourself, oh, how do I feel? You never want to rely. A hustler doesn't rely on willingness. The hustler makes a commitment, creates a discipline, and then stick to that. It's not like, oh, what do I feel like doing today? No. I've already planned what I'm going to do today, yesterday. And trust me, there are days, I'm a life coach and I'm supposed to be happy all the time. I'm not. I'm cocky all the time, but I'm not happy all the time. There are days when I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm free, Jesus Christ. Oh, I don't feel great. How am I supposed to tell people that they are great? But then sure enough, you sit on your coaching chair, so you want to relate to whatever you do. I'm sitting on my coaching chair, and suddenly I'm a coach. My brain's, okay, this is a coaching chair. This is not time for whining and feeling sorry for yourself. People come, they pay money for you to help them. So shut up and focus on work. So in 5 years, not once I've cancelled or rescheduled a session because I had a sore throat, or I had a headache, or I had a hangover. It's unacceptable. For me, in my world, I'm not saying, hey, you need to be strict, but for me, this is a commitment I make to my clients. Or to myself, even before clients, forget about clients. It's a commitment I make to myself. That if I do something I shouldn't do on a school night, I'm going to suffer the next day, but I'm going to get the job done. Guys, big part, and this is something I want to talk about for quite a bit. Hustler can take a rejection, because no matter what is it that you do, there will going to be rejection. There's going to be plenty of rejection. Guys, I encounter rejection every single day. Every single day someone rejects me. Either in my personal life, so in my dating life, believe it or not, or in my professional life. But it's the degree to which you can handle it, you can take it, is the degree, again, to which you can succeed in any area. Because imagine you just got divorced, or you became single, and you're going out on a date, you're going on the first date, and this person doesn't want to see you for the second time, and you go, oh shit, I'm not good enough, and you don't date again. Because somebody just said they're not interested enough to see you again. Yeah, it's a rejection. But how do you expect to go on a date and for everyone to want to see you again? It's never going to happen. In any business, if you can convert 30% of the people you see, or prospective clients, into clients, that means that you're very successful in a sales process or in converting process. So that's 3 out of 10, which means that 7 people reject you. So I had 191 initial coaching consultation last year alone. 124 people said no to working with me. So shall I focus on 124 who said no, or on the remaining that said yes? By the way, I can't possibly work with 191 people in the same time, in 1 year. It's impossible. I don't have capacity. So this is to be expected. But guys, the rejection is not a reflection on you. if somebody calls you an idiot, so I'm going to go a step further. If someone calls you an idiot, it doesn't make you an idiot. It makes that person someone with the need of calling you an idiot. It's only someone's opinion. And no matter what you do and how you do it and who you are and how hard you work, most people will not like you or will not like your product. Unless you sell vanilla ice cream, and then almost everybody likes it. But how exciting there is to be in a vanilla ice cream business. And then the more edgy you become, and I can see how I'm becoming edgier and edgier over time. Not because I'm trying to be edgy, it's just I'm just being true to myself. And the more successful I become, the more confident I become about being true to who I am. So therefore I become more and more edgy, and I piss more and more people off. But I had this moment when I realized. I remember talking to my friend who is quite senior, my former client, who's he's in advertising, quite successful in advertising. I said, Ollie, I have a problem. I said, what is it? Nobody criticizes me. He was like, that's a very good point. It's a very interesting point. Nobody criticizes me. That was a time when nobody was criticizing me. Nobody was leaving my talks. I'm disappointed. Nobody left the talk. I'm disappointed. I need to put the volume up on you. There you go. I'm almost finished. There you go. And he told me there's something in advertising called the hook. So every good advertising campaign has to have a hook. And in a service like mine, you're going to create a hook around your personality, because I am my business. There's nothing else really. There's some associates, but I am my business. So this directiveness of mine, which I've always been direct, being Polish is quite easy to be direct. We are naturally direct. I use that as my hook. I said, okay, I'm gonna say, hey, I'm at the no bullshit coach. This is what I do. This is how I talk to people. I might as well use it in my marketing. And that's what I did, and that's what I'm getting criticized for by some people, which is fine. It's the rejection. And if the rejection becomes someone hating you, like someone becomes a hater, it just shows, for me, that person is not in a not very good place. Because think about it, would you really be spending time hating if you were in a good place within yourself? No, you'll be busy writing 5-star Amazon reviews. So you're not gonna have time to write 1-star Amazon reviews talking about how shit this product is. If you're if you're in a really good place. So guys, so where I am today, I am in a place where, in my professional life as well as my personal life, I've proven to myself over and over that whatever I put my mind into, I can be successful at it. Yeah, and I always emphasize that it's all down to my work ethics. It's not down to my IQ. I know I'm not stupid, but I'm not overly average intelligence. It's not about intelligence. And I'm sure you've met many people that are doing well they're not particularly intelligent. Like, really? Are they doing well? How come? It's certainly not education, we talked about that. It's certainly not the background, we talked about it as well. It's the work ethics. And that's a good news, because if that's the case, we can all be successful in whatever things we want to be successful, because we all can work harder. Yeah, we can't change our background, we can't change our upbringing and level of IQ, but we can all work harder. And there is the argument of, hey, I don't want to work hard, I want to work smart. That's a very, very romantic idea. It doesn't work like that. When I say you got to work hard, working smart comes with it. It's a given. Of course, if you're a smart person and I'm talking to you, I'm not expecting to work hard in a dumb way. It's a given. You got to work hard and smart. Working smart is not enough. You got to put the hours in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to bring the bad news. You have to put the hours in. And the most successful people in any industry work the hardest, the longest hours typically. Or even if but like, Michael, you don't work that hard. You wake up at 10 every day. You have 3 meetings a day. Yes, but I'm obsessed with what I do. I'm constantly thinking about my work. I would go on a date. She would go to the toilet. I'm like talking to my clients. And she's like, what are you doing? Like, constantly. 7 days a week, 365 a year. And only when you combine working smart, because like if you only work hard, then you're gonna be like a hamster on the wheel, right? You'll be constantly tired, but you won't be producing as much as you could. But you see, the working smart bit, you can always outsource in a way that you can get help. Someone can help you with this working smart bit. But if you don't have this work ethic, if you're not prepared to work hard, like I know from a coaching perspective, if my client is not prepared to work hard, doesn't matter what strategy we're gonna come up with, they're not gonna succeed. Because one thing you cannot outsource is to the actual action that you're gonna take. Like you can't pay personal trainer, no matter how good they are and how much they charge, to do the push-ups for you. You need to do the push-ups yourself to build some body that you want, right? Did I point it at myself? Fucking hell. Tom, I'm gonna point at you. He has a great body, ladies. The guy with the glasses, the dentist. And he's single, believe it or not. So guys, you have to work harder. So if you're not getting to where you want to get to in whatever it is that you do, increase the activity. Increase the activity. Don't read another book. Many times I say to my clients, no, I don't want you to read any books. No dates, no books, no events. This is what you're going to do. Dates because it's distracting and expensive for a guy. Unless you take them to, I don't know, Starbucks always. And then books, because you see the trap with books is that I'm almost ready, just one more book. Because I heard this book is great. Probably most of us have a list of books like to read. It's like, this book sounds interesting. Once I read this book, and you basically what you're doing, you're postponing the actions that you ultimately need to take to get where you need to get to for another month or 3 months. You're postponing the inevitable. Because no matter what book you're gonna read, even if you read my book 10 times, I'm gonna say, hey, you read my book. No, it doesn't matter. I say in the introduction to my book, reading this book in itself will not change anything. It's the implementation of these ideas that are in my book. Or this event, it's great that you're doing this, and I've done it as well. But then I said to myself, you know what I said to myself? Enough. If I'm gonna attend events, it's gonna be like, I'm gonna be here. With some exceptions. Enough. I know enough. I'm not saying I know everything, absolutely not, but I know enough. I know what I need to do. And most of you know exactly what you need to do. You just don't do it. I'm going to take my time. I want to work smart. I want to work smart. I'm going to work 4 hours a day. 4 hours a day. Yes. And I'm going to talk to smart people and get some advice and get one coach, another coach. The action, guys, the action is very basic. I find the principle of success is very basic. Believing in yourself, on the idea that you have, whatever it is, no matter what anybody else is saying. Yeah, many inventions out there, the peers would say to the person like, forget it, you're crazy. It's not going to happen. But this entrepreneur or this person believed in this idea. And then if you convince in something yourself, you're going to present it and you're going to talk about it in the way that eventually people start to believe in it as well. Look at Hitler. He convinced the whole nation of intelligent people about certain ideas that were absolutely fucking crazy, as we all know. Nothing can replace action, guys. And there's only one thing better than action, and that's more action. Thank you for listening. I'm going to take some of the questions now. Thank you. Deepak, how much time do we have? How much time? Are we okay with time for questions? Yeah? Stop us when... If there are any. I'm sure there are any. Some. Nobody ever wants to go first, but then there you go. My team. Mm-hmm. What team do you have in mind?
Like a team that helps you do what you're doing.
I like accountants and assistants and stuff. Mm-hmm. So what was the first question? Yeah, okay. I've actually struggled with finding a coach for myself, and I'm always very suspicious about a coach who doesn't have a coach. Yeah, because it's like you don't believe in your product. Like you said, everybody should have a coach, but you don't have a coach yourself. But having said that, I struggled because, to be honest, it took me 2 years to find someone that I believed could handle me. So I know I have a big mouth and whatever. Someone who can actually tell me things and I'm going to listen. But once I found her, it's a female coach called Michelle. She's fantastic. So she was referred to me by a friend. I heard about her. I heard how good she is. So I hassled for 6 months to have a coffee with her because she's so busy and she doesn't like networking very much. Because I didn't know I want to work with her. I just wanted to meet her. But when we met, it was instant chemistry. So she's one of my coaches. And then Michelle Zelli and another, so she's my life coach. And I have a business coach called Daniel Priestley. He's a very successful entrepreneur and author of 3 books. And so he helps me on the business side. And I've met him through, one of my friends who've done one of his courses had referred me as one of the possible clients. So I became his client for the courses that he runs, and then we work one-to-one right now. So there was definitely an element of actively looking for it, but also there was, I was in the right place. Somebody told me something. But, I believe that when the student is ready, the teacher show up. There's the saying, right? And the second question, again, listening to people, looking for recommendations. None of the people I work with in any capacity is the people I found online. Whether it's my account and whether there's a guy who's shooting it today, filming it today, it was all through part of my network. Because something that Tim Ferriss, speaking of Tim Ferriss, is a 4-hour work week group. Tim Ferriss talks about how easy it is to find people who are capable to do the job for you, but how much harder it is to find someone who is reliable in the same time. So I can only work with reliable people who are going to say, I'm going to call you at 5, they're going to call me on 5. I can't do 5:15, it has to be 5, maybe 5:05. Yeah, not just the skill. There's lots of people with skills, but you got to combine it with being reliable, for me anyway. Did I answer your questions? Thank you. There was a question there at the back, yeah? Was it you?
Yeah, I was going to say, you mentioned that when your mom emails you, you send back yes, no, or a smiley face. What's the difference between a yes and a smiley face?
I didn't see that coming. That's a very interesting question. It's not email. She doesn't know how to use the email. It's the text messages. I don't know. Maybe she asked me a question and there's like a yes or no answer, then I gave her a yes or no. And sometimes she just says something. She says what she does, and I just send her smiley face. Sometimes I combine the two. Yes and the smiley face. When I feel like in a zone, in a writing zone. Any more questions, guys? Possibly more serious than this one, but.
Why do you think that successful people search for a life coach? Is there a reason?
I wouldn't say the successful people, do you mean like all of them? No, some of them.
Some of them are
Yeah, because there's always next level. It's always a next level. So when I meet somebody for initial consultation, we do this very simple assessment form where people score themselves in 21 different areas on a scale from 0 to 10. How satisfied they are in a particular area on a scale from 0 to 10. I've never ever met someone who was 10 out of 10 on all of this, or even 9 out of 10 on all of this. So there's always room for improvement. I have a guy, to give you an example, one of my clients, his net worth is 100 million. And you're like, why the guy who is like happy family, 100 million net worth, why would he need a coach? Yeah, because he wants to make a billion. He likes the idea of making a billion. Then you might be a billionaire, you might want to make 10 billions if it's about the money for you. Or you just, at the very least, I work with some clients, they come for a session, all they do is they talk. I don't say anything. So they use me like a mirror, like a sounding board. Easy, that's an easy session, I tell you. And thank you very much, Michael, that was so useful. I didn't say anything. See you in 2 weeks, thank you very much. And that's for 3 years. So there are different, and he's successful. There are different reasons, But why do I have not one but 2 coaches? Because I want to excel. I don't want to be just in a good place. I want to excel in every area of my life, or of most of areas in my life, the ones I care about. I want to excel. So the more successful you become, the more you are open to the possibility of even more successful. Because hey, I've experienced this, I might as well be successful in this area. Now I have the money, I can hire someone to get there faster. So everything I can do with the client can do by themselves. I always tell them, listen, All I can do is accelerate the process. You can get all the information you're going to get from me for free on the internet. But I can help you achieve within 3 months what maybe it's going to take you 2 years if you commit it. Did I answer your question?
In terms of clients that you take on, did you start with a micro niche and build out, or is there a reason you didn't do that?
You see, I don't believe in niching in coaching. You know, I come from a place of, you know, in my mind of I'm a life coach, and therefore my niche is everyone who is alive. Yeah, it's like for the brain surgeon to say, I only perform brain surgeries on men working in a city at age 35 to 45. No, the brain is pretty similar for all of us, and the same with life coaching. So I don't believe in niching. I've never had a niche, so, sorry, let me rephrase that. I've never had a traditional niche, or a niche in a traditional sense of that term. My niche is my coaching style, which is directive coaching style, which is not as common as the non-directive that all the coaching schools teach. So certainly not for everyone, and that's a niche in itself. But in terms of who I work with, the age of my clients, whether it's man or woman, I'm open to everyone. So I'm looking for certain qualities in my clients, and one of them is being a willingness to work their ass off or to work hard, commitment, and they need to be fun. So that's my 3 criteria. Because I need to enjoy what I'm doing. The only way I can enjoy what I'm doing is to work with people that I enjoy spending time with. Yeah, it doesn't matter how much money they have. If I don't like them, I'm gonna be like, oh fuck, I'm seeing this guy. I'm seeing Matt later on. Like, fuck. And I had some clients, guys, when I first started coaching, I was charging £20 an hour, £50. For a long time, I would work with anyone who would pay. I need experience, I need money. And trust me, I work with some nutcases. 1 or 2, I mean, not a lot, but like some really difficult people. Few I had to fire, I just didn't have a choice because it was so bad. But guys, after working with these people, and you can relate that to any kind of business or any kind of activity, these people you don't really enjoy spending time with will let you really enjoy the people you do like. Because now the people I work with, sometimes I look at my calendar, it's like, okay, I'm seeing this guy, this girl, and I'm like, I can't believe these people paying me for me to spend time with them. And this is like the best job on the planet, because these people are my friends. We go out, we do all sorts of stuff, but then they come in, we do coaching, and they pay for it, and they get results, and I get money, I can finance my lifestyle, and everybody's happy. Did I answer the question?
Perfect.
Wonderful.
If you were to do a sort of coaching course,
Lots of coaches in the room, I can tell.
yeah, which one you do? Who's impressing you? What process? What model?
What coaching school, yeah?
Yeah.
Animas, by far. Animas coaching school, yeah. Nick Bolton is a friend of mine. Do we have some Animas coaches here? People that have done Animas? There is one over there. You can speak to Anna later. Yeah, you know I like Nick because I know him. I know he runs his business from the heart. Yeah, he will take money. He's a businessman. You got to be, I'm a businessman. I will take the money, and I'll take as much as I can, because I'm a businessman. But at the same time, I'm not going to try to take money from someone unless I know 100% I can help them. So there has to be, I'm not saying there has to be, because I'm not going to tell you to be ethical. I can only tell myself, I need to be, I can't compromise my integrity. Because I will make the money, but I'll feel like shit about myself. So what's the point, right? Having money and being unhappy. So I know Nick, and because I know him, I know he runs the business, from the heart. He really gives a shit about the people that he works with. It's not a massive coaching factory. It's a more kind of boutique style. Think about Nando's versus family-run restaurant. He's a family-run restaurant. I try to be a family-run restaurant, not a chain, not a McDonald's. Next one. What's your name again? I try to get to know my clients. So Animas by far. Any more questions?
For new people starting off, would you now recommend that they only work with people they like?
When they first start?
Yeah, that they resonate with. You
No.
said that you learned a lesson, but wasn't that lesson part of the fact that you will work with these people?
I would say I'm gonna answer this question in a way that more of you can relate to it. So whether it's coaching, whether it's you're an accountant and you work for yourself, you're a personal trainer, whatever. long term, you can only get great results. Like, I believe that what makes extraordinary coaches is extraordinary clients. So without clients, I'm just a cocky guy, from Poland with a funny T-shirt. Like, I need my clients, so I can only find my brilliance in the results of my clients. And now, if you work with someone, whatever industry that is, if you work with someone you don't fully resonate with, there's a ceiling to how much you can achieve together. Why? Because if you don't really like them, probably they don't really like you. If they don't really like you, probably then they don't fully trust you. If they don't fully trust you, they're not gonna follow everything that you suggest they follow. But in the beginning, like, it depends, depending on your financial situation. Bear in mind, like, I wanted experience and I needed the money. Now I want money, I want more money, like, I'm a businessman. At that time, I needed money. Two very different things. So I wouldn't say no to anyone. And so if you have financial cushion, any of you, you could, still take people on that you wouldn't normally take in ideal world, but probably without going to extremes. I was going to extremes. So I was like, this person is going to drive me nuts, and I'll still work with them. But because, especially when you first start something, you are so in love with what you do. It's like when you meet someone, you start dating, in the beginning it's like, fucking now, everything is great. So it's like a honeymoon stage. So you like coaching so much, and I see my junior associates, they will coach anyone I send them. Anyone's like, yes, fantastic. I was like, how can you enjoy this person? I couldn't wait for them to leave the room, And they just love working with them because they're so passionate about the fact that they're coaches and they're getting paid for it. So the best advice I have for coaches or wannabe coaches or whatever industry that it is that you're thinking about or entering or you are in already is, using the example of coaching, you got to coach your ass off. And it's back to hustling, it's back to working hard. What creates great coaches is not coaching qualification, coach training, coaching books, or even being coached. Is coaching. The same with surgeons. Great surgeons don't become great surgeons after just graduating from the best medical school. They become great surgeons over years or decades of performing surgeries. I know I'm kind of stating the obvious, and like, no shit, Michael. Great salesmen become great salesmen through years of selling. So if one coach is going to coach 10 clients a week for 5 years, and I'm going to coach 20 clients a week for 5 years, who's going to be a better coach after 5 years? I would spend 2 times more time coaching in 5 years. So that's what I've been doing. I've been coaching for 5 years, which is not a lot. But when you look at my all the stuff, I look like I've been doing it for longer. Why? Because there was intensity. Because for a long time, when I first launched my coaching business, I was working for 2.5 years, every day, 7 days a week, no holidays, no dates. Big sacrifice for me. Big. No dates. Living like a monk, Frankie, can you believe this? So then, when I said, okay, I'm back on the market, fathers, keep your daughters at home. I was unleashed. It's like, what's the one thing that can distract me from making money, growing my business? Obviously women. So I need to distance myself from them. And sure enough, working 7 days a week from, 12 o'clock till the evening, running 6 talks, 5 talks, 3 talks a week, I don't even have time for dating. So that was the sacrifice I took. But coach your ass off. Your personal trainer, oh, but Michael, I can't find paying clients. Coach for free. Coach for free. It's not as good because when the client doesn't pay, they're not as committed as when they pay. But coach for free. Because you're going to get more experience, you're going to grow more confidence within yourself, and then you're going to bring this confidence to your consultation or sales conversation or whatever you call it. And when they say how many people you've worked with, they're not going to ask you how many paid clients you had and how many they're going to ask how many people you've worked with. And if you work with 10 people for free, you work with 10 people. And you bring the experience of working with 10 people to the table. So we don't want to be too fussy in the beginning. It's like, oh, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. In the beginning, I would give talk in any venue they would invite me to. Anything. Right now, I'm more selective. Because I can be. Because I don't really need experience of public speaking. I'm not going to become a better public speaker than I am already. I'm not fooling myself. So now it's like, okay, am I going to enjoy? Is it going to be a good crowd? Is it going to be enough people? A friend asked me, Michael, if I put 30 people in the room, will you come and speak? I said, make it 100 and I will. Let's push it, you know. Why would I come and this whole evening, you know? I could be changing lives right now, 1-to-1. Wearing my Superman t-shirt. Did I answer your question? Any more?
Mastering sales, what's that look like? Numbers, call messages.
There's a great guy. If you want to learn about selling, it's a great guy called Grant Cardone. One of the best salesmen. If you like my style, you're going to like his style because he's very direct and very like, no bullshit. So I resonate with him a lot. Grant Cardone. Remind me on Facebook, I'll send you some links. And then there's Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy is he has programs on selling, but I don't like his style because he's too nice. I'm like, Brian, just show me a little bit of,
Sorry, what was the first guy you mentioned?
Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone.
What about Gary Vaynerchuk?
He's not he's a great salesman, but he doesn't do sales training.
Yeah.
So these two guys, Brian Tracy and Grant Cardone, they have books and programs on selling, which is what, yeah. Yes, I studied Brian Tracy, which was hard. Because you see, you might get a teacher, say, oh, this guy is very knowledgeable. Like Tony Robbins, like probably he's the most knowledgeable in the personal development industry. I don't want to learn from him. Why? Because I don't resonate with him. Which is not a reflection on him the last one, which is not a reflection on him as a professional. It's just the chemistry is not right. When you look for a coach, look for someone that you would want to have a coffee with. Look for someone you would like to spend time with on your free time. And if that person is not that person, it means that you need to find somebody else. Because for this to be the most effective, it has to be someone. So I couldn't learn about selling from Brian Tracy, even though he was saying exactly the same thing that Grant Cardone is talking about. It's exactly the same thing. Everything I can tell you as a coach, you're going to find hundreds of other coaches that can tell you the same thing. But it's looking for the person with the right personality. And speaking of coaching, 1 minute and I'm gone, okay?
Yeah.
Have you read his book? Amazon bestseller. He's an Amazon bestseller. 169 reviews on. He's too modest. He's too modest to. Yeah, he's getting like blushing. I haven't read it, so I can't really talk much. But like, it's impressive. You want me to buy it? Or you want to give it to me?
We'll exchange. How about we exchange?
You don't have my book. You haven't read my book.
No.
That's rude. Just joking. Such a nice guy, Deepak. I love Deepak. I just said that to make sure that he invites me next year. You know, selling like. Right. So. Guys, I don't have any forms, feedback forms. I'm not collecting any emails or anything. I'm not asking for anything. If you want to get in touch and discuss the possibility of working with me or one of my associates, and there's two of them at the back, great coaches, and I'm going to turn into superstars. Just give me a shout. You will find me. If you want to find me, you will find me. You can purchase my book at the back. There's some business cards as well. And I hope to connect with you a little bit more. Right now, after I finish, which I just did. Good? Yeah, and get Deepak's book. Bestseller, Amazon bestseller, fucking hell. Stop it.